Well, hello, hello, hello. I feel like this is already my standard um, greetings, I guess, right? That's how you call it. So, happy Monday! We made it after the weekend. We're ready to start. I don't know, we probably already started the day, right? We're towards the end, or at least most of us. I was actually reviewing today some coding challenges, and it was interesting. You know, you kind of not remind yourself that this was kind of like normal coding to you, but you also need to kind of so like reviewing PR code, right, at work, and reviewing coding challenges of candidates for more junior positions is very, very different, right? You need to more kind of like review the potential and see through it and try to understand what they meant and things like that. So yeah, that's what I was doing today, most of the time, because it's also, you know, working in big corp, you have procedures, you need to adhere to them, and luckily you also have guidelines, right? Because you need to be like all the interviews kind of need to be conducted in a certain standard, so they all have like a baseline. So yeah, gonna wait for a couple of more people to join. I feel this is like such a social media thing to say now. Gonna wait for a couple of more to join. Yeah, there are many funny reels about that. Also, I have like some runny eyes. I don't know, allergic to something. Monday. No, but yeah. I also hope that I figured the streaming in 1080 finally. I did my part of reviewing stuff, so I hope that now it's gonna be better. I also noticed that the title of the video is a little bit wrong. It's part 4, it's not part 3. We have been doing this for a while now. Let me just check that all the details are correct. Yeah, cool. And last time, I don't know if you were here on Friday, but I had like a little bit of a failure when it came to streaming. And what's happening? Wait a second. So yeah, there was like a tiny failure when it came to streaming, but I hope it's resolved now. So if you are trying to find the streaming from Friday, there are 2 parts actually. The first one where I explain some stuff for like 40 minutes or so about icons, and then it started like lagging, but don't worry, there was no information there. It was just me coding. And then once I noticed that, I went to another stream, and then we did properly the icon, and I showed you like some cool stuff, which I'm gonna show you now in case like some other people are gonna join a little bit later. So you see my screen, and as a recap, this is what we're building. It's our dashboard, where we're practicing React, we're practicing I don't know, everything. Building with React, a little bit easier, not too overwhelming, not using necessarily any state yet, maybe later on, but not Redux, just some simple stuff, you know. There was actually a very cool idea from Fabio, I think. He suggested to create an Olympic kind of like stats page, you know, where you have like the Olympic Games, like the 5 circles, and each of them will get thicker depending on how many countries in that. So because every ring represents a continent, and the circles, like the thickness of them, of the rings, not circles, rings, would get thicker according to the amount of medals that the continent has or won. So that's a cool idea, and we could do that next. But what I was saying, icons, let me show you here. So here is our awesome dashy dash, what we have so far. And these icons that we have here, let me show you as a tiny recap. Here, icons. You see we have tons of JSX files with the SVGs that I created in Figma. And they also accept parameters, which is just like options, so our icons can be more flexible. And then we have our icon, and this is where the magic was happening. So when you use an icon, instead of using actually arrow icon all the time and importing like different ones of them, how I prefer to use it is by importing a simple one called icon, so then you kind of have a more unified way of not necessarily importing stuff, but just having like more explicit components, you know. This way your eye kind of gets used to seeing icon and you're like, oh, okay, that's an icon, you know, you don't need to worry about it. But then you can specify which type of icon you want to render, and in this case it's arrow. So then if you would go to our icon component, you would see that in here we're expecting the props.icon. So that's the icon thingy that we sent from the other component. So from the side nav, this is a prop that is called icon. And this is here, props.icon. We accept it as a function, like as an argument in the function, and then we use it here. And what it does is that it goes to the components variable, and it searches, in our case, for arrow, and it finds arrow icon, and it returns it to the icon component, and then it renders it. So this way, it's a very flexible way of using icons and kind of like creating like your own mini library of those icons. So that can be kind of like helpful, I guess. And later on you can also be hey and later on you can also be maybe using a thing like called Storybook or something similar, where you can actually showcase your icons, and then the more people you have working on this repository or on any other project, then they would be able to just see, okay, I need the list icon, you know, and that would be easier for them instead of like going there, because now you don't really know how they look like. So it can be very helpful to have a library like that and to showcase it. So where are we gonna go today? Let's go back and check out what we have. So we did the side nav last time. We still didn't do like the hover effects or selected things. We're gonna do that later on, because now we're kind of like building the structure and not going into too details, but just a little bit. And we need to also do our top nav, which we said that we're not going to be doing those links here. You see my cursor, right? Yeah. We're not going to be doing those links here because I feel like they are repeating whatever we have here in the side nav. So it didn't make much sense to me. Plus, we're not going to be using router link in this tutorial. So there is really not much sense. And we said that since we're not going to have those, let's maybe make a bigger search, or not necessarily bigger, but we're just going to move it here to the right. Because I think it's actually a pretty common pattern to move the search to the right and have it like hanging there. Usually along with the burger menu, it happens. But yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. And the dilemma that we had last time before starting it, let me show you. So you see how we pushed our search to the side and now it's here. And the thing is that this search is the whole input field. So let me open that instead of showing you with the cursor. So here is our search bar, and we also have it in our top nav. So the top nav is just a nav tag with our H5. We said that we're gonna have a brand name instead of like a dashboard. It's totally up to you what you want to put there, but I feel like it's pretty common to have like a brand name there, or at least in like many websites that you go to, you can see that they're putting their logo there and the name, and that's kind of like, and usually it's also, if you click on it, then it's gonna bring you to the home page of that website. So that's why I went with just like with dashy dash, super awesome name. And then we have our search bar, which is a component that we import, and here it is. And for now, the search bar consists only of an input field, this one. I don't know if you can see the contrast, but this is like grayish, and this one is white. Let me maybe put like some borders so it's gonna be more clear. 1 pixel, solid red, and you're gonna see it better. Oh, I'm not running it. All right, let's run it then. Yeah, this always happens. I forget to run sometimes, but that's okay. There we go. So we have our red border here, and here is the design. So as you can see, we have two icons inside of our search, but it's not, I mean, to the user it looks like it's inside, but for a developer it's not really inside of the search. The search would be just this little part here, and then those two are going to be separate components inside of it. And the reason for that is, if you, for example, would click on the search, you don't want suddenly to submit it, right? Or you don't want to suddenly do something else. Wherever you're gonna be clicking, that's where things are gonna happen, right? Does it make sense? So for example, if we make this whole thing our input field, how will our click make the website understand what we're clicking on? So that's how we can know that these things are not in the input field. Maybe it's gonna make sense once we start coding it. So let me do that. I'm also gonna be checking my CPU usage from time to time to see that nothing goes bad like last time. But okay, I'm gonna keep our CSS here below. I usually like to do that so we can have like a quick toggle. So what's gonna be happening here is that we have a div, right, which we have now in our search bar, and that div is gonna be our input field, kind of. Sorry, not input field, like the whole input bar, I would say. Hey Dana, your React videos helped me a lot this couple of weeks. Yay! Hey Norbert, thank you so much for joining and for saying that. I really appreciate it. I hope that also this React tutorial can continue helping you. Which one did you do so far? Were you doing the same parts, like the ReactJS project dashboard we're building? So yeah, let's start and try building this. So where do we start? All right. So first of all, our search is not gonna, we don't need a border radius because that was kind of like premature of me to all those things. Although you know what? we do need that, but maybe we can just move the class name and put it to this div. What do you say? Yeah, okay. That's what we wanted. Kind of. So I think our input should still have a class name because we still need to style it. It has some default styling that we don't want. And we're going to call it input. And then here, dot input, and then border 0. The border is going to be 0. I didn't save it. But the outline won't. And I highly recommend you not to remove outlines from any elements because that is for accessibility reasons and they are there, like it's needed to be there. Okay. You could change a little bit the color, but don't make it like white on white because then again it's not visible, it's not assisting anybody. So yeah, keep it like that. Your website is not going to be ugly because of it. Okay, it's absolutely fine. So then we said that we have here 2 icons, right? Norbert says, I watched the weather app one and then the first part of the dashboard app. Keep it up. Whoop, whoop. Thank you. I will. Very happy to see people are doing the weather app APIs. There's also a SpaceX API if you're interested in that. It also has some React stuff there. So let's import the icons. And this is, again, the benefit of creating that mini library is that you can just put an icon. Which one? So first, just the syntax, right? Gonna import icon from icons and icon. So you can also do it like this. This just means relative path. So like from where I am, go one up. I think React is smart enough to understand what you mean. It doesn't really matter how you do it like that. It matters in bigger projects, but for now, like it's just do as you want. It's fine. And the icon that we want, let's go to the icons. What's the name of it? It's a search probably, right? Search, and if I save it, there we go. We have the search icon, you see? Beautiful. So the benefit of having that little library is that we have one icon and then we need the arrow and that's it. You can just have another icon. You don't need to import anything extra. So arrow, save it, and there we go. Now we also need to rotate the arrow. So we're gonna have a class name, styles.arrow, and the arrow is gonna be, oh, I always forget that. Is that transform? Transform, rotate? Yeah. Visual Studio Code, or in general, code editors that suggesting are bomb. Seriously, like, if things would not have been suggested to me most of the time, like, eventually you just forget it. So this is kind of like, saves you the time to Google stuff. Wait a second, why it didn't rotate? Oh, you know why? Because we are not, it's not class name. It's, wait, it's classes, right? In our props, yeah, it's classes. Because we're not applying it directly to the component, we're passing it as a prop to the child component. So this is gonna be classes. And if we save it, yep, now it rotated this one. See, cutie. All right. How big does this one look like? I think it looks a little bit bigger than ours, like wider, right? So it's like, if this is our kind of like box, here. What am I comparing even? That doesn't make sense. I thought of like comparing proportion, but it doesn't really make sense to compare it like that. Okay, let's just make it bigger and just see what makes sense. What if we make like 450? That's too much. What about 350? That's also too much. 300? 250? Is that not how we started? 300? 285? Oops. 275. This one looks fine. Okay. So now it's kind of like off, right? And it's not like nice. So first of all, we need to give it a background color. I prefer to give it like explicit background color and not background, although you can still define just like background and it's still gonna work. It's gonna understand the syntax. What are the colors that we had? Okay, we didn't go into variables. Fine, maybe we're gonna add them later. For now, let's do FF, which is hex code for white. Okay, and now we would need to push those things kind of down and also space them out. So for that, I'm gonna comment the inputs border reset, so we'll have like a better understanding with what proportions we're working here. You know what? I would also like to give the icons some padding because I feel like they're a little bit squished. So styles.icon, and we're gonna use this. Oh, by the way, how to combine icons, not icons, but classes. You can do it like this. You do template literals, and then you just write them together as strings. And eventually you're gonna get both of them. So at work, I know we're using something like class names library, but I'm not sure if it's necessary if you can just, I don't know, how do you call it? Construct your own string. So the icon, I wanted to give it a padding of, what if we give it like 1 rem? I always like to start with 1 rem and see how it goes and how it feels. Ooh, where did we disappear? Was that unnecessary? No, what am I doing? Wait a second, but why did it... If I comment this one, is it gonna work? No, that's not the issue. Is 1 rem too much? Where are you? Where did they disappear? Yeah, they disappeared completely. Oh. Oh, okay. So the padding is pushing them down. Okay, that makes sense. It would not push them down if we would give them a div around it, and then the div would have a padding. You want to check? Yeah, you see that? That worked. So if we do 0.2, yeah. Okay, that's fine. We can do it like this. It doesn't matter. Showed you how to construct your thing, like your style, your thing. What a proper English, Daniela. But yeah, now you know how to do those kind of things. So if you have two classes that you want to combine, you can just template, use template literals, and that's it. Hey Devashish, what's up? How's it going? Right, so now we're dealing with block elements. Hey, can you please make a terminal like landing page for a portfolio? What do you mean? A terminal like? So like the styling? Using terminal from React Bash? What's a React Bash? You mean like this? Would you build it in React? Doing fine, got fever, recovering soon. Oh no! Fast recovery to you, Devashish. Hope you're gonna be recovered soon. Harsh says, hold on, I'll try to show you. Okay, maybe you can also DM me on Instagram and let me know there. But don't send me links on Instagram, just send me screenshots. And say that you are coming from the YouTube channel, because otherwise I'm not gonna watch anybody sending me pictures on Instagram that I don't know. You know, being a woman online is a little bit, can be sometimes weird. So, now that we put the divs, we're not dealing with SVGs anymore. And the divs are block elements, right? So the div is taking this whole space. So the whole width that we gave it is gonna take it all. Input doesn't do that. Div again does it. So now we need to use something that is gonna put them all on one line. And my favorite one, display flex. I feel like applause should be like sounding here right now for display flex because it's awesome. So if we do df, which is display flex, voila! And that's not all though, because we also want to align it in center. And what I like to do is sometimes I do it completely in the console, but sometimes I just select it here. I just type like the display flex in the element, and then I move to the console. You see the console, yeah. And here, where we have the display flex, they have this like little thingy for us that we can play with, at least in Chrome. I know Firefox also has it. So all the modern browsers should have it. I don't know about Safari. Might have it too, but I never tried much their console. So I don't know. So what's that? Yeah, so we want to justify content space between, which pushes them like aside, which we're good with. And we want to align items center. Ta-da! Isn't that cute? And now, after we close this, you have here all the attributes and their values that we set. And then you can just copy and paste them. Boom! You refresh and it's still there. Yeah, this reminded me that today we had a discussion at work where some candidates, they clearly used like a Stack Overflow copy-pasted solution for one part of the code, not for everything. And it kind of like sparked a discussion where we were talking about how we're feeling about reviewing code that is like copy-pasted from Stack Overflow. And I said that it's actually pretty valid because in my opinion, if you're a beginner and you manage to find a solution, be it in Stack Overflow, I don't know, anywhere in Google, you copied it, you weren't afraid of it, you pasted it, you verify that it's working, then that's kind of like the life of a developer, you know? Like, we don't come up with the wheels, we don't invent them, but we are trying to find ways how to use the existing ones. So I'm not really sure why this should be seen as a negative thing. But my other colleagues, they were coming from a point of view where they said that the person should have at least acknowledged it. But we will talk to this person and we will find their kind of like process of thought and how they came up with the solution and why they opted in for that. So yeah, coding challenges is one thing, and then there is the other part where you actually talk to the candidate and find how they did it, why they choose one thing over another, and there's like way more than just like code, right? Harsh says, no worries, I understand. By the way, your videos helped a lot. Thank you. Thank you so much, Harsh. Thank you. I'll wait for your DM then. Okay, story time over. Let's continue. This was me trying to justify why I copy paste a lot. Although I shouldn't justify, I think that it's much more common than everybody, or at least than every beginner thinks, and it's absolutely fine. You don't need to come up with your own solutions. Sometimes pragmatism is much better. I mean, depends, right? As always, like if you're, I don't know, if you're trying to learn something and you're trying to really dig into it and see how things work, then go for it, build the things yourself. But I guess there is like a fine line between knowing what you can build, what you should build and spend time on, or what you should actually use that is just already existing. Daniel, hello, looks like I'm late. Well, not that much. We just started with the search bar. Welcome. Checking that everything is working. By the way, is the quality better this time? I feel like you can see me better. There is no complaints about fonts. So, search bar. I want to know, why did our padding didn't apply? Didn't we put a padding? Yeah, we did put a padding, but styles.icon.icon, why this thing doesn't have an icon? Doesn't have a padding. Search bar icon. Search bar icon. Am I misspelling something? No, right? Huh. Interesting. So you see that here the class applies, but in here I don't see anything. Padding. That's how you write padding, right? I have like serious doubting moments here. What's going on? Why there is no padding? So if we add here padding 1 pixels, you see it adds the padding. Okay. I want the padding because you see, like here you clearly have the padding. All right, you know what? You don't want to come to us, we're going to come to you. Let's apply the padding on the whole search bar. Can we do that? I mean, of course we can do that, but are you going to understand that that's what we want? Padding 10 pixels. Okay, that's not bad, right? So if we do like 1 rem, I think I like the 10 pixels, so that's like kind of around 0.8, 0.5. Yeah, 0.5 is good. Let's put then on the search, I'm gonna put padding 0.5 rem. refresh it. Okay. Now I feel like I want to give this search, I want to give it a width of 100%. Yeah, and also a margin of 0 and then 0.5 rem. Yeah, so this way, supposedly, if we shrink it, see, it's not gonna break it. Like this is the maximum that my screen goes, but it didn't break it because we gave it very flexible values. So which one? That was the search. So if we go to our input, we specified the width to be 100% and not just like I don't know what it was. I think it was just like the regular input width, which the index, not the index, the HTML tag has. So unless you define a width, it gives like a very base width that different browsers, I think, give different ones. And then we give it a margin, 0 for top and bottom because we don't want to move it. And then we give it a 0.5 rem for left and right, so for the horizontal part. And I gave it a margin because we also have a Flexbox here. So this means that the whole search like box, the whole div that holds everything, has its own padding, and then the elements inside are being told to, so the right one needs to be, the left one needs to be pushed completely to the left, the right one completely to the right, and the one in the middle needs to be in the center. So there is like these gaps here. And in order to sort of maintain these gaps, so when you shrink it to still have something there between the icon and the search, we gave it this margin. So it can grow bigger, but it cannot grow smaller or shrink smaller. I hope that explanation makes sense. And now we can actually, again, uncomment our border 0. And there we have it. What about the line height? It looks to me, so if I look at it, it looks like the icon are a little bit like higher, lower, you know, like the search is not really going lower. You see there is like a, so you see where the S starts and where the actual border is, there's difference there. So I suspect that this comes from the line height of the input field. A line height, see if we revert or if we say normal or if we say 1 rem, then it moved. Didn't it? Yeah, that was just games. So if I put to should it normal? I don't know. So what is the height of this? The height, go to compute it. The height is 20. Hi Dana, how are you today? Hey Leonis. I'm fine, a little bit allergic to something. So I have like runny nose and stuff, which I hope you cannot hear. But apart from that, I'm fine. How about you? And trying to figure out how to make this one more centered. Maybe we could just give it a bigger font. So if I remove the line height, see, it jumped a little bit. You see, like, take a look at the search. Look at it. Look at it. See, it's jumping. So what if I give it a font size of 1 rem? No, I want to make it smaller, 0.8 rem. That's too small. 85? Okay, 5 sign. And if we remove the line height, which doesn't do anything at this point, line height, yeah, it doesn't do anything at this point. Well, whatever. What do you want to do? You want to keep it like this? Let's maybe put it smaller, right? Smaller is nicer. Okay, and I think that maybe we should also put the same color here. What do you say? So I think we need to do input. How do you do it? Like this placeholder? Oh, like this placeholder. Really? Nah. Without this, right? Like that. If I do text, what am I doing? Color, red. Oh, yeah. Okay. And then we also said that our font size is gonna be 0.9 area. Yeah, cutie, right? What was our colors? Text was this one. Don't forget the hash. Where is the hash? There is the hash. Yeah, nice. Cool. Oh, wow, it even has an X here. Wow. I'm not gonna remove it. I actually like this. Maybe aesthetically it's not the best, but I like that there is an X here. Pretty cool. I've never seen that before. How about we have like a 2 minutes break? I need to run for a second. Okay? See you in a second. I'm gonna leave everything here, so you can listen to the music. I'll be right back in 2 minutes. And I'm back. Sorry, allergies are taking my best moments out of me. Okay. Hope I'm back for a little while. Oh, what do I see here? I see here that it has like an outline of offset. What's that? Interesting. I don't know, but okay. So let's continue. Let's remove our border red because we don't need this anymore. I've shared the terminal idea. Take your time to check it out. Thanks, Harsh. I will. I'll get back to you. Okay. How about we give it a box shadow? I think it has a slight box shadow, right? Yeah, it does. And I also think that the icons should be a little bit smaller. Okay, so first things first, box shadow. Box shadow. So I always need to kind of like, you know how with the padding and margin, I don't know if you do it, I do it. So they always go like clockwise, right? It goes like top, right, bottom, left. And I always need to be like playing with my hands, you know, in order to understand which one goes when. So same thing with the box shadow. So I think first goes the X. So how much of the box shadow you want to give horizontally. Then you have the Y, which is vertically. Then you have the blur. And then you have the intensity. Or maybe first the intensity and then the blur. Let's check. So if I do 1 pixel and 0, 0, 0, you see it gives only like the horizontal. And the 1 represents how offset it goes. So I think if I click here, you're gonna, yeah. So you see here, this dot, if I put it to 0, you don't see anything. But if I move it in the X, that's what you see. And then you can move it here and here and here and here and here and here. Beautiful. I really love Chrome DevTools. They're the best. So if we give it like a 2, 2, and then the blur, which you see here, the 2 and the 2 added already. And then the blur, nice. And then the spread, even better. And that's too much. So I want a lot of blur, but I don't want a spread. I want like a tiny one. What if we do like 0, 0? Why is it so huge? Wait a second. I can also probably define color. Not probably. I know I can define. So I want it gray. Yeah? No, I want it light gray. I wanted the same color as we have our text. There we go. Come on. There we go. Very subtle, right? I don't think we needed 20 pixels now. So if we click now and we put the blur, it's just like a tiny subtle thingy. You don't need like too much of it. And no, I thought to make it like on focus, but no. Okay, that's fine. You like this box shadow? I do. I'm gonna apply it here. In our search bar for the search. Then we can put it here. Although usually I see sometimes usually I see that the box shadows are actually being like pushed to the bottom of the CSS of the element. I don't know why. I don't know if that's like a browser thing that they push it down. But yeah. Anyway, we have our search. Still no functionality. We don't need it yet. This one is a little bit off. No, it's fine, right? Okay. Yeah, so here we have with our search bar. Nice. So now we can start doing our Dashi dashboard. So let's do this part. I don't know if we're actually gonna have like add widget thingy, because that just adds the complexity to it to figure out like the grid of it, and I'm not sure. No. But we can for sure have like a dashboard thing here, just for fun, you know, because we have Dashi Dash, and why not put another dashboard here? Or maybe not. I don't know. What do you think? Should we? I mean, let's do it. We can always just remove it later on. So, to our dashboard. No. I've been having like the whole day that I'm just like misclicking on things. And I'm just like, Daniela, careful. Careful, you're dealing with code, you're dealing with people here. Just have been one of those days, you know. So, Dashi dashboard. And in order to have our Dashi dashboard, we also need to include it on our page, right? So in here, save it, and dashboard, nice. Now in order not to like, I don't know if we should push the dashboard there. No. So you see how the dashboard is kind of like here from our side nav? It's because our side nav is of position fixed, and we need to push the things a little bit to the right. Right? Yeah, to the right. So, do we want to push it to the right? Or, so like, should that be the component's default? Or should that be a div here that is wrapping the dashboard, and that div is responsible for that? Why I'm asking, or why I'm bringing this up, is because in my kind of like idea of what components are, and I'm sure not only mine, but what I tend to think of components is that you have them like isolated, right? So there's like this dashboard that if you take and you put it in any other place, it should just like stretch to the 100% of it, you know, and the parent of it should kind of like control how big it is, how wide it is, what's the height of it, and so on and so forth, and not like the dashboard itself. The dashboard is going to control the children that it has, but it's not going to control like how it looks within the context of everything. So I know we didn't do that with the top nav, but I feel like the top nav is very specific, but the dashboard, what if later on like you have a widget somewhere where you just want to put the dashboard? So I would say that let's play with that idea. So I would do a div, and I would put the dashboard in, save it, and then this div, I'm gonna give it a class name of styles dot dashboard. And we didn't include any styles. Interesting. Because we deleted it, right? We had it before, but it's fine. We can we? Yeah, I think we can, right? JB, do you think learning Tailwind CSS is worth it? For sure. I really like Tailwind, and I think it's a great utility CSS library. I think it's really awesome, and I would actually like to have some project with you to do like Tailwind. Now we're doing Bootstrap, but I think it's a really good one. Yeah. So definitely give it a go if you can. App.css. And I'm also saying that because I feel that if you get the hang of how Tailwind CSS works, then chances are that you are gonna have like other libraries like that. So Tailwind CSS is like utility-based one. Utility-based means that you can apply like things. So a class would be like flex, and then another class is going to be justify content, and then another class is going to be padding 1 rem, and then another one is going to be margin 1 rem, you know, and eventually, yeah, you end up with very, very, very long class names, but it's super adjustable and it's utility class names. At least that's how I understand it. And many other libraries are also kind of like utility based or utility mixed. Like Bootstrap also has it, but it's not utility based. It's kind of like more component based or elements based. But I know that many workplaces do have utility based, so it's an interesting concept to get around. Yeah. And here we said, well, you know what? No, I'm not gonna do styles. I'm just gonna do main, right? And this main is gonna have a style. I'm gonna delete the app CSS, we don't need that because we have already our index. And in here, the main is gonna have a margin left. How much did the top nav have? Margin left 65 pixels, so that's gonna be our thing here as well. 65 pixels, and you see now it actually aligns in here. Very nice. So we have already our dashboard. No. I keep on using like, we were just talking about like Bootstrap and utility based, and I noticed that I keep on using like my own paddings and stuff where in fact Bootstrap offers those things. So why am I not doing that? So for example, these things, display, align items, justify content, and padding. Let me show you how Bootstrap does it. So if we would not have, let's comment these ones. Yeah, save it. And you see now they're stuck on top of each other. So what we do, let's put again in here below. We go to our top nav and we construct again our template literals, because this we know is going to be a variable, but then we want just like strings, and we're going to do dflex, which is display flex in Bootstrap language. Then we're going to have justify, no, wait a second. Save it. I need to check, is it justify content or flex justify content? I don't remember. Yeah, nav. So here's another thing. Here's another hack. Time for hacks. You click on your element, and then you click on these CLS, which is element classes, and in here you have this little menu or like input field, add new class. And what you might have not known is that this input field knows about all the classes that you already have in your project. So if I do justify content, you see about, oh, look at all of these options. This is everything what Bootstrap offers. Bootstrap offers. So I want justify content between, there we go, and then you can click on it, and then you can also like toggle it and see what it does with it, without it. You can check, okay, if I have this, but then I don't have this deflex, is it gonna work? And then I can be like, oh wait, but what if I remove this, and what if I remove that? And then I want align items, center, there we go. And then I'm like, oh wait a second, but do I need to justify? Yeah, I do. And then what did we say? We have also a padding, and padding is P. This one was not top, this one was horizontal, so this one is PX, because X stands for the X axis, and if you do PY, it stands for the Y axis. So we do PX and we do 1 or 4. How much do we want? Or 3? 3 seems nice. And there we go, you know. So here we do deflex, then justify content between, and this is kind of what's going to look like as well in Tailwind CSS, because you're going to have a lot of like these little classes, and it's kind of nice because I think it's nicer that you don't need to actually like go per element and redefine those classes again. So I don't know, I think it's I like it. I think it's very easy to start like using it, to start applying it, playing with it. So that's why I also liked Bootstrap in the first place, because I think Tailwind didn't exist back then. And back then was not that long time ago, right? I'm just like, I'm officially a web developer, a working web developer for like 3 years now. So yeah, I don't think Tailwind existed, or at least not in that magnitude. Hello, I'm Uzbek. Hey, Bobber. Hey, Satish. What's up? Thanks everyone for joining. Was waiting for you earlier. Oh, is it Rajana? Because I usually read like the first name. Is it Satish or Rajana? Maybe I've been calling your name wrong all this time. Sorry. It's like, it's so interesting to see so many people and everybody's different with our different names and ways how they're pronounced and everything. That's actually a funny thing that here in Germany, so I'm not German, but I live in Berlin for like 6-7 years now, and they love forms, right? Everywhere you go, you need to fill out a form. It's another topic. But in the form, so you have like a first name and a last name, and for some reason in the German language, there is a term for first name and last name, but they also have the term name, which means one of those. And I can never remember which one it means. And it's always like, for the last 7 years, I've been Googling that a lot, and it still doesn't stick with me. So, yeah. But anyway, what I was doing PX, 3, align items, center. Refresh, and there we go. So now we don't need to use those ones. It's kind of like I don't know. It's probably up to you to decide what you want to use. If you want to use the Bootstrap in a combination with our styles that we define ourselves. Because, for example, when you have a margin left of 65 pixels, there is no Bootstrap class that is gonna be helping you with that. Because it's a very specific like unit, I guess, right, and measurement, and the height as well. So you could just continue right in there, display flex, justify content space between, like we had before, or you can combine. It's really up to you. There is nothing wrong about combining, and I guess like adding extra when you need it. So yeah, but just so you know, you can do both ways. Dana, good luck with your work. I like your creative mega. Thank you. Got to say, you pronounce Indian names pretty well. I was expecting my name to get butchered. What? But Harsh is pretty easy, no? I mean, I could understand that there are like more complicated names, which would be quite hard. But then again, it's interesting to learn how to pronounce it. So always, if I pronounce your name wrong, I apologize, and please let me know how to pronounce it. I would really like to know how to pronounce everybody's name correctly. Okay, so that was a little Bootstrap introduction, right? Oh, you know what I remembered? I thought we wanted to make our icons smaller. See, I'm jumping. I'm totally today not here. The allergy has taken over my part of brain. So I wanted to make the arrow and the search icon a little bit smaller. And for that, we need to go to the icon. So if we go to any icon, we have a default width of 16, and we can change that. So basically what this syntax means is that it can expect a width from the outside, but if the width is not going to be provided, then it's going to default to this value, which is 16, which is what's happening now. But if we are going to provide a prop called width, which I'm going to copy because I don't want to type it, then it should change it to that width. And let's check how it's going to change, because there's also height and stuff like that. So if I put 10, it went smaller, but that's too small. What about 12? 14? Is it too big? No, I feel like this is fine. So let's also define it on our search icon with 14. Yay! But now I feel like they need to have a little bit more padding. So if we're gonna go to our search bar styling, then the padding needs to be, so let's keep the 0.5 REM from the top and the bottom, although we don't even need that. Yeah, no, it's gonna be 0 and then 1 REM. Yeah. Oh, this one looks much nicer. I really like this one now. What do you think? Does it look nicer? I think it does, right? Alrighty. So, dashboard. Let's bring this thingy here. Show. Let's close some stuff. Yep. And now we're gonna open our new component, which is the dashboard. Woohoo! So, dashboard has an icon and has kind of like a header. We're gonna make the header bigger. We're not gonna make it that small, right? We want everybody to know that we're on the dashboard. So, first of all, this one is gonna be, did we already put main before in our app? Yeah, it's in main. Okay, so this one is gonna be just a div. Why did I remove it? No need. And then I'm gonna put a class name, and this class name, no, not here. So we said we want to have an H1. Let's put an H1. Dashboard. Maybe a little bit too big. H2? H3? Yeah, H3 is fine. So this one needs to be in a header, right? And this div, since we have already the parent as the main, I don't think we need another div. So we can use a thing called fragment, which, remember I told you that fragment is needed if we have several elements, because React components need to have one parent element and cannot be several of them. So I do prefer to use fragment over a thing that looks like this. Just a personal preference, you can use either. If you choose to use this one, then you don't need to import anything. So that's a positive side for that. I don't think you necessarily import too much if you're using fragment, although I'm not sure, but I wouldn't expect it to be like heavy if you're importing it. So we have our header, and also our header has an icon, right? It has this one. So I assume every time you would click on any of those, here would appear the name of it, and it would be like this thing, which we're gonna make later. We're gonna make it like if you click on it. We could do that. Could we? Yeah, we could do that, because that's not gonna be like, that's not gonna be routing, although it should be routing. No, fine, we're not gonna do that. Easy, decided, we're not gonna do that. We're just gonna do it simple, right? And then our next project, we're gonna do something with states, with React hooks, which I absolutely love. And then, yeah. Barbara says, Dana, I would ask you to make videos using more API. Yay, thank you. I was thinking of doing them. They require a lot of work. So maybe I will do more. I just need some time to think about like good ideas and come up with designs. And I'll probably do it as a live stream and then just save it, because I feel like it's much nicer. What do you think? Would you be up for a live stream of API projects, of the Ultimate API Challenge? And do you want it to be in React or anything? Let me know. So, icon we said. I clicked on enter, I pressed on enter, I thought it's gonna auto-import it. I really like when things are being auto-imported because I'm very lazy in importing them. Import icon from, so we said we're gonna do relative, then 2 dots, we go up 1 repository, go to icons, and we go to icon. There we go. And now this one is gonna have a class name of displayFlex. See the beauty of Bootstrap? Or like, it's not only Bootstrap, right? It's just like any CSS library that you can just use their classes without applying your styles, which can kind of like actually make them more unified when it comes to spacing that you're using, or like to font sizes and things like that. Definitely yes. Woohoo! Yay! I'm constantly thinking about the APIs, so they're my babies. You won't believe it, but it took me a year to create all of those APIs and websites and come up with ideas, record it, publish it, push it, and yeah, it's a lot of work. So I'm also very happy to see that you are liking them. So thank you for letting me know. I really, really appreciate that, seriously. And I guess I'm gonna come up with the Ultimate API Challenge 2.0. When is gonna be its anniversary? In February. Yeah, no, I'm gonna release it earlier. I'm gonna wait half a year for that, I hope. But who knows, right? If there's gonna be another lockdown, maybe I'm gonna make like the Ultimate API Challenge 3.0. Not funny, but here we are. So, displayFlex. And now I would also want to have it aligned in the center, both of them. So align items, center. That didn't go as expected. Harsh says, I was kind of finding it difficult to use the data and inject that into a chart using chart.js too. Maybe you can use that, because not many videos on YouTube about that. Chart.js too. We can do that. I worked with charts before. They can be a little bit... I might have even used the same... No, I was doing something with Vue.js. But yeah, sure. I know it can be a little bit complicated. Yeah, I could do something with that. Ooh, actually, we could do the idea that Fabio had with the rings for the Olympics and using Chart.js. Let me write it down. So, chart. Maybe next week. Let's see how far we go with this one. Alrighty. So, why this one didn't do align item center, or did it? It didn't do it. Did it? No. Oh, I know why. You know why? It's always the trick. So, see this orange thingy there? That's a margin bottom. So if we do a margin bottom 0, then it suddenly looks aligned, because usually every header, paragraph, that's the ones I can think of now, they always come with their margin bottoms. Sometimes also, oh, actually a paragraph tag comes with margin bottom and margin top. So if you have kind of like misalignment in your layout and you're not sure where the text is not aligning, chances are that there is a margin that comes natively that is like messing up with you. So it's absolutely fine to remove those margins as long as the text is still readable. Yeah, there is nothing like, it's not like the outlines that you need to keep. The margins you can remove. The margins are, they don't hold anything against us if we remove them. So in here again, you do class name, margin bottom 0. And that's it. And also, maybe we can make our icon a little bit more prominent and give it a width of 18 this time. We're gonna make it bigger. Is it already 18? Yeah, 20. What if we do 22? It still doesn't look aligned to me. That's just the font. It has like a weird thing, this font. We have the same here. You see, it looks like it's a little bit not aligned. It's because like the level, like you see like where the level the font is not actually touching the bottom. Weird font. Mohammed says, hello from Indonesia. Hello, hello. How is it going? Welcome, Indonesia. I feel like I'm in a Eurovision, you know, like, hello this, hello there. Do you know about Eurovision? I don't know. It's like this song contest that the European continent has, and some other countries, like apparently Australia is also participating in that. Welcome, Australia. But yeah, there's this thing at the end where all the countries that vote, which is most of them, they're like, hello, Europe, and 12 points goes to, or like, hello from whatever, France. So, I'm from Indonesia. Join us in learning, sis. Learning what? You join us, learning React. Okay. So, okay, I want to give this header a padding. And the padding is gonna be padding 4 because we're feeling risky. Ooh, that's nice. That's really nice. And now I also want to give the icon. So at this point, if I want to like give them a little bit of distance between each other, you can or give it to the icon of a margin right, or you can give it to the H3 of a margin left. Initially I thought to put it in the icon, but now that I see that our H3 actually has class names, and I just wanted to extend that. I'm not a fan of like writing some extra class names just for the sake of it. I just gonna reuse it, even though it doesn't cost you anything. There is no necessary like, I don't know, performance issues involved, but it's just like feels less cluttered, you know. So let's give it a margin left of 4. Ooh. Oh, why did the P4? Oh, because I cut it out. Why did I do that? No, P4 needs to stay. Yeah, now it's nicer. And I still think that this H3 is a little bit too big. What if we do H4? H4 is nicer. H5 would be too small. Or maybe also do the dashboard smaller. But then the ML should be like maybe 2. But damn it annoys me that it's like... I don't like this, you know? I don't like that it's like so... Ugh. Let's search for another font. This is annoying. Because if you don't know how to search for fonts, I can show you now. So Google Fonts, that's my favorite free resource. I think they did an amazing job here. So we're gonna go for sans serif, which means that it doesn't have these newspapery fonts, you know? So serif is when you have these little things here, you know, it's like these little bloops. And sans serif means without them, so without them. And I want to put, for example, the sentence or the word dashboard, and I want to see how it looks like. No, I didn't mean to click on that. So here we can have an overview, how things actually look. Bigger, smaller. Montserrat is one of my favorite fonts. What else? Poppins doesn't look that bad, right? Railway, Ubuntu, hello Ubuntu, Mukta. Quicksand is also one of the top favorites. Karya or Carla, Hebo, Josephine Sans. It all looks kind of the same sometimes, right? Varela. So I'm gonna just like scroll and stop. Yeah, no, that's not happening. Poppins. Okay, yeah, thanks. We go with Poppins. So, and we're gonna go with regular because that's usually what we do on websites. We put the regular, and then we can select also, which I think the semi-bold is fine, right? PV Sinhu best. I don't know what that means. Was that a font? Sorry, my ignorance. This one. So, and then you clicked on the pluses, and then you can view here. Okay, let me show you. So you select the type, and then you go in here, and then it gives you the link. You select all of it, like this, and then you go to your HTML, and here we already have it. We had the previous one, right? You just remove it, or you swap it for whatever you have here from the Google. Sometimes I speak like my grandma, I guess. And then Sindhu played well. Oh, is that football or something? So, and then we copy the font family, and that's how we're going to be using it. So save that thing, and then where did we put it? Oh, here. Yeah, we used to have Amico, and now we have this one, Poppins. And now if we go here, it changed. You see, I feel like it's more aligned. No, she won a bronze in the Olympics in badminton women's singles. There's a... Oh, okay, nice. I didn't follow the Olympics, sadly. Sorry for the disruption. No worries. I just didn't know what you're talking about. But I guess you were very excited about this this game and this winning. But always happy for people winning golden medals, bronze medals, whatever. Athletes do a very, very hard work. Like, I could never. Maybe I could, I don't know, but not in this life. So we have the header. Then we have, what do we have? So even our dashy dash went, because I thought we gave it like a 800. Let me just check for a second. Our font weight for the dashy dash is 700, but I guess because it doesn't find a 700, it goes to 600, because we imported only 600 and 400. So if we save it, nothing changed. Yeah, because it was defaulting to the 700. Smart. Alrighty. What's next? You know what's next? First, I would say, so it has a padding. Okay, so anything below that is going to be our actual grid of those kind of like cards. So what I want to do is I want to here maybe create another div. And now that I'm thinking about it, like we have a header here and here we have a div, but then in the app.js we have a main here. So I think that we should swap this for a div. And that's not going to work, right? No. It's not going to work because we already defined a class for it. It's fine. Anyway, disregard that. I want to give it, so just put something because we want to see the height. And I'm going to give it a class name that we're going to create custom for it, because we need to style the whole kind of like grid of it. Yeah, I think here we need to do grid. So styles dot grid or a dashboard. No, let's stop. Cannot name something more dashboard, right? Let's just do the grid of this dashy dash. So dot grid, and let's give it a background color of green. And let's see what we have. Karimov said, hello. Hello, Karimov. How's it going? So now the fun part starts, is that we need, so what I want to do is I want to have this element full height until the bottom of the page, and also kind of like have the grid in place that is going to mimic the grid that we have here. And once we have that figured out, we can kind of like drop on top of it the elements. What do you say? I think that's a good idea. If so, no, I'm joking. I think it's a good idea. So let me show you one thing that is called calculating. My mic is hitting my monitor. So it looks like this, if I'm not mistaken. So let's do height is going to be a calc, which is basically a mathematical function. Mohammed, just a second. And then we're gonna do 100 VH, which is the 100 vertical height of the screen, right? Because height doesn't work in 100% most of the time how we want it. So we need to use the vertical height, which is like the units that your screen has, or not the screen, but the browser window, minus the height of this, which is 71.62, so we do minus 72 pixels, and minus our dashy dash nav, which is 65. And let's see if that's gonna work. Yeah, it did. You know how I know that it worked? It's because we don't have a scroll. If we would have a scroll, then that would mean that we went a little bit over our height. So Mohammed says, can we put the text in wrapper class same height as icon and flex it to the center? So you mean this one, this icon and the text, put it in a wrapper class, same height as icon, and flex it to the center. You mean to put this whole thing in general to the center, or what do you mean? Did I understand it right? Also, usually, if you did the clone UI of YouTube that we had, we saw there that they also use calc a lot, but in their example, and that's how usually it's preferred to work, is you don't have 72 pixels, but you have a variable here, a CSS variable. And this one as well, you have like a variable called navigation height or navigation bar height, whatever. And you use this height everywhere where like the classes depend on the height of the navigation, because then if one day your navigation changes to like 30 pixels instead of 65 pixels, you don't need to go and verify that you change in all the CSS files this value. You can just change the value in the variable, and that's very helpful. Yoselin asks, how do you decide when to use flex or grid? So I, as a joke, always decide for flex because I really like it. But in general, there was this one sentence that I read somewhere that, let me show you. If you want to create something that you need to align only horizontally or only vertically, then you're going to use flex. But if you need to create a more complex structure, like here, where you have one element that is until this line, and then this element is a little bit longer, and this one is a little bit longer, if that would be Flexbox, that would not necessarily be possible, because everything in Flexbox is a row or a column, and they have like their fixed widths and heights. So if you want to use something like this, preferably use grid. It's going to make your life easier. At least that's what they say. We're going to check. But if, for example, like this column on the side, where you just want elements to be one under each other, and then maybe a little bit of like, okay, that's a bad example. I would not use flex here. But for example, for the navigation, or here for the side nav, where we have one on the top and then another chunk of icons in the center and another one at the bottom, you would not use grid for that. You would use just Flexbox, give it a column and space between, and that's it. At least that's how I read about it, and it does make sense. So Flex is for two-dimensional manipulations or designs, not designs, just like layouts, and Grid is for three-dimensional, if that makes sense. Muhammad says just the text in wrapper div and give it height as icon and align center. Okay. You mean in order to align the text and the icon with inside of it? Yeah, we could try that. But that's why I feel that sometimes it's like an overkill to do it, you know? But wait a second, Muhammad. But we actually did like an align item center. So it's we have that. We have a deflex, and then we have them centered. Just text in wrapper div. And give it height as icon. Oh wait, you mean to give the height of this? I don't really like giving height to H tags. What was it? 20? Yeah, we could. You see now it's like at the bottom kind of. But I wouldn't put height to paragraph tags or H1 to H6 because that kind of so some people might have it their browser set to smaller font sizes, some might have it to bigger font sizes, and I feel that if you limit your like tags, specifically these tags that contain text in them with height, then that might not be the best idea. I'm not sure, but that's kind of like where my thought goes. Yasemin says, great, thanks. Sure, happy to help. Okay, so we have a little beautiful green screen, and we're gonna do grid now. My favorite, not. If you have seen my previous streams, by the way, every like stream series is gonna be in its own playlist, so you don't need to like search through the whole page and wonder if like this was covered here or there. It's all in its own playlist and it's organized, so you can just like start from zero and continue up with me. And hopefully you're joining the live stream so we can have this live interaction that I really like in chat. Now that I'm done chatting, let's continue showing you display grid. There we go. How we're gonna do it? So we need one. How do we do it? So basically, if you would imagine that there are lines here, you need to imagine that there is one line here. I'm saying it like as if I'm a pro. I learned this last week. So imagine that there is a line here, and then another line here, and then another line here and here. No, that's not true. This is gonna be our gap because grid has a thing called grid gap. So we have one line, we have a second line, we have a third line, and we have a fourth line and a fifth line. Okay? So what I learned, I think, is to have grid, template, areas. I'm a big fan of these areas. Like, use grid 2 times, a big fan already. Good point, thanks. Cool. So we open, how do you call those? Quotes, strings. It's getting late, huh? That's when my brain starts freezing. So let's call it, like very, very primitively, we're just gonna call it 1, 2, and 3, okay? Which represents our columns. Now, Whoops. How does this work? I forgot. You need to do it like this, right? Then you open another string and you do 1, 2, 3. And you do more. What did we say we have? 1 line, 2 line, 3 line, 4 line, 5 line. So this should be enough. And now if we do grid, go back, grid gap, let's do 1 rem. Save it. What are we gonna see now? I have no idea what I did now. So here's the grid. Ooh, look at this. So this is the grid that we built. Doesn't look like what we need, to be honest. Why is the 1 bigger than the 2 and the 3? Why is this here? Is it because... It doesn't matter, right, that it's indented here, right? If I'm gonna remove this lovely thing here, is it gonna change? It does. Okay, okay. Cool. So what we want to do is to have 1, 2, 3. But it kind of goes, it's not how I wanted it. Or is it? So you know what I mean? I'm trying like to break it into and then say like, okay, let me show you what I mean. Otherwise it's not gonna make sense. So if I do, no. Okay. Let's name all of this section. It's gonna make sense. Stay with me. It's gonna make sense. So I'm renaming all of them to section. It's gonna make sense. If you repeat it after me, it's gonna make sense. It's gonna make sense eventually. Yeah, okay, fine. We remove the grid because now they all name the same. It's fine. So now we have section 1, and that's gonna represent our card, okay? So we have here are gonna be our AirPods. Then section 2 is gonna be our little ranking thing, which is a little bit bigger. It's fine. If you say it's fine enough, as I said, it's gonna be fine eventually, right? Let's do 5 because I feel like it's broken into more. So section 1, section 1. So section 2 and section 2, you know, so it's gonna take a little bit more space than the AirPods. Then we have section 3, which is this one, is gonna take even more space. And then we have section 4. Like, disregard the numbers, just take a look at which numbers repeat themselves, okay? It's gonna make sense. Then we have section 4. Then we have here, let's make it bigger, section 4. Then we have section 5 and section 5. And this is section 6, section 6, section 6. And this is 7 and 7. Let's see. Does it make any sense? Well, that's disappointing. Really? Oh, damn. It doesn't like numbers? No. I'm gonna do 2 ends or 3 ends, depending on the number. I'm telling you, I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing. Damn! Why does it work? So it worked when it was just like this. Oh no, it did work. I was just... It did work. I just removed this thing. Okay, fine. Now, in order to show you how it looks like, let's do dot section 1, and then section 2, section 3, section 4, 5, 6, and 7. Forget that I did the section with the N's. Forget it. That never happened. I don't know what you're talking about. I just didn't embarrass myself online. No, that was not me. So, red. Come on. No? Still? Oh, I didn't save it. Damn it. Oh, right. It's not enough to name it as... You need to name it section 1. Come on, work with me. Okay, so it is there. All right. So if I remove this green, does anybody know what's happening? Okay, let's put section 2. So it just goes to section stuff, but why doesn't it go to the areas? Grid template areas, I asked it to do. I guess we will need to Google. Grid template areas. So there we go, grid, yeah, grid area and grid template area. I'm a little bit disappointed that it didn't work as I expected. Why doesn't it work? So, we have grid area, we have it. We named it exactly the same. Section 1, section 1. Why it doesn't work? Any ideas? Grid template areas, grid template areas. So the syntax is correct. Section 1 is like this. Section 2 is supposed to go to this one and to this one. Is it because our grid? No, that doesn't make sense. Wait a second, how they write it? Yeah, it's in separate strings. It's each on their own line. Huh. Why doesn't work? Okay, let's open grid cheat sheet. So here, grid template areas. Wait a second. Wait a second. Wait a second. No, it's not. I thought that maybe Bootstrap has like a grid class and that's interfering with us. But sadly it's not. Right, because it's a dashboard grid, yeah. Ugh. Why? Why is it not working? Do I have to define these things? Do I need to define like the columns and the rows? Do I? No, it doesn't help. It doesn't do anything. Can't figure it out either. Yeah. Damn. What if I put like section 1? And then here I put section 2. And there I put section 3. Section 4. Section 5. This is me just like trying to stretch time to see if my brain is gonna come up with a solution. Yeah, they are not what they're supposed to be. So grid template columns, I mean, if it's auto, then what's the benefit of it? None, right? We don't need this. What is that? So I'm spinning the wheel on my mouse and it appears and disappears. I don't even want to know what's the bug going on here. But why? Why are you not working with me? Why you don't want to work with me? So what can be the reason? And I feel it's like one of those very obvious reasons. It cannot be the naming, right? Because the naming should be pretty, like, maybe it doesn't like numbers? No, let's make it easier here. Easier. Huh? Did we use any background color? previously? Something that messes up with the grid color. Oh, maybe. Let's see. Background color, yeah, it has. But that's the body, so the div should have, because we had here like a background color of green and it was fine. But the thing is that you see that even like the sections, so like even the thing, the images that, not the images, the text that is going inside of them is not, it's not correct. Like if we do a background color transparent, so we override whatever we have before, still not there. Well, that's a good guess. Now I broke this one, I have no idea why. Oh my god, why? What did I do? Just keeps on getting worse. Oh my god, what? How does it make sense? How did I manage to break it? Because of a... Hey, any food frenzy? Hey, any GitHub page for React server-side rendering? What do you mean? Like a framework for that? Use Chrome debugger and VS Code for debugging. Yeah, I heard about that. I still didn't use it. Where is it? Here? But I don't wanna configure it now. I heard that it's like very good. Could you just use background instead of background color? Yeah, I can. I'll put them in both, right? Still nothing. Oh, look at that, look at that. Now it's like this. Why? Invalid property value. Because of this. What? Excuse me? It says that it's invalid property values. What? Setup guide for SSR setup. Not much material on that. I don't know how I don't know about if there's like setup from scratch, because I guess it's probably not that complicated, but I guess it would require some explanation indeed, but there is a great framework called Next.js for React, and it does server-side rendering, and it's pretty good. I used it for a website, and it's really nice. So you could check that one out. I don't think there is anything else that I know of. This is very famous one. Has a lot of cool stuff there. It has very good documentation and it's like very interactive. So maybe you can check it out. Why did I break it? Why did I do to you? Section. It doesn't like that it's suddenly this section like this. Still not what I want, but it's just stupid. So what, I cannot do like this kind of shapes? What's the point? What's the point of your grid? I thought you can do that with like stuff, no? Damn, probably not. Well, that's fine. That's anyway not our case. I want, for example, to put section 2 in like this space. You know? It doesn't let me. Why? Very confusing. I really don't know why. What does Bootstrap has to say? Grid. Does it have a grid? Grid something. It's horrible for debugging though. All jobs out there want just plain React plus Babel plus Webpack. Oh, so you're building something for like a portfolio? Cannot think of anything really. But maybe you can check in dev.to. I think that's the name of the platform. There are many developers sharing their ideas and like some findings that they did, or like writing how to create something from scratch. So you could do that. But I know that we have a couple of people who build at work like this thing from scratch, but I mean, what I assume what you need to have is Node.js. You need to know like the GET request. You would need probably an Express server, and then something that is going to render your React. It's like a template. No, you don't need a template engine, but you need something like to tell which component to render. So maybe that's kind of like a hint. Search for Express, Node.js, Express, and React, and something's gonna pop up. That's my best guess. But if jobs require just plain React plus Babel plus Webpack, then there is no word about server-side rendering there. So you could do just React stuff. All right, friends. I have zero idea why this grid is not working with me, and this mouse wheel that I'm just like rotating and suddenly the grid disappears is even more amusing to me. I think that's enough for today. I think this is the browser telling me, Daniela, it's time to log off. Yeah, let's figure that out tomorrow. Same time, same place, because otherwise we're gonna sit here until midnight and I really have no idea where to search for it. Maybe it's one of those things that you're gonna come tomorrow, you're gonna open the laptop and suddenly everything magically works. I don't know, but today it doesn't make sense to me anymore. So I really don't know where to start debugging. As far as I know, the syntax is .classname, background color. Yeah, so there I did it. I did like dot section and then I have like a background and a red, right? Premith, oh come on, what? Do you have any ideas? Not sure why it is not working. Yeah, me neither. You know why? You want to take a guess? I just saw it. I just joined, no ideas. So let me show you. Yep. Welcome to the realities of developers. How hard are you laughing there? I'm laughing a lot deep down inside. Yeah. Alrighty. Styles dot. And these, my friends, is what happens too often to admit. I'm guessing it's going to be something stupid, which we are really. You guessed right. Because it's like, I don't know. You see, like we had all of those class names here, right? Because we were using Bootstrap, so we were such a smart ass here. And then I was like, oh, section, blah, blah. Ay. I told you it's something stupid that like the next day if you're gonna come, you're gonna be just like, really? So yeah. And so now if we have section 2, I'm gonna put it in section 2, I'm gonna put it to pink. Oh, because we don't have a section 2. Ooh. Okay, so our section 2 is gonna be here. Whoops, here and here. How nice is that, huh? So let's check Dribble. I think we should have more sections because I feel like we have much like more height to play with. Even one more I would add, you know? So it would be 1, 2, yeah. So look at it. So this one is section. Then we have section 2. We're gonna go like column by column. And then we have 3, 3, 3. And then here we have 4, 4. Right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We're gonna have 3 and 4. Let's do that. Like rows. So 4 and then 5, 5, 5, 5. And this one is gonna be the opposite. 6, 6, 6, 6. And then this one 7, 7, 7. Boom. Save it. Okay, and now let's continue with this. So where is it? Section 1, 2, 3. We're gonna rename it to something else eventually, but not now. I feel like I'm doing it so fast because I feel like it's gonna expire. It's not gonna work again eventually. I'm trying to beat the system, beat the computer, beat the browser. Cyan. 5, 5, blue, 6, 6. Let's bring back our Rebecca Purple, our favorite girl that we didn't know existed until last week. Section 7. Hot pink. Boom! Look at this beauty. Oh my god, I feel so proud to have created this. For a person who didn't use grid a week ago, this is a big progress. Oh, this looks so nice, isn't it? It's the small things. It's the small things. it really feels nice to see that it works. Oh my god. I also want to do some padding of one REM around it because we have the grid gap. So in order to have it unified. So beautiful. Wow. Except on the top. I don't want more padding top. So I'm gonna do top is 0, and then 1, 1, and 1. Nice. Yay! And this one should be also aligned here. Why is it not? Our icon, margin left, padding. Yeah, so damn. Okay, maybe our whole. So remove this bud. Remove this. And here we're gonna do margin bottom 4. It's gonna look like that now. Save this, it's gonna look like this. And now we're gonna go to our main. So we're gonna give the parent this padding around. Wait a second, wait a second, wait a second. Here, it's gonna have a padding of 1 REM. Bravo. Well, congrats. This is just next level satisfaction for sure. Being stuck and then pulling it off. Yeah, I know. This is like, I'm gonna sleep so sweet tonight. This is amazing. Okay, now you see that now we have a little bit thing going on here. And that's because our padding changed a little bit. And that's because I guess we cannot match our padding stuff. You know what I mean? Because I'm mixing like our own padding and Bootstrap padding, and they're probably not entirely aligned together. So I'm gonna do a margin top here of 1 REM just to be consistent with the REMs. And there we go. Now we don't have our what's the name of it? The scroll bar. Yeah. So I think it's awesome. I think it's really freaking awesome. Can you share the Dribble link of design? Yeah. Let me go there. Gonna drop it. There we go. So didn't expect this to happen. Although I feel like here there is like more spacing going on, but we can change that later on, right? Once we have the cards, we can have like tweaks here and there, but yo, we have this grid. Like, this is major accomplishment, like major. I mean, ideally we would also name it differently than section, 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 but on the other hand, why? It works, it's fine. So what we're gonna be doing tomorrow is we're gonna be filling those things with cards and yeah, building it up. Maybe we're gonna finish tomorrow. No, we're not gonna finish tomorrow because we're gonna do also hover effects. We're gonna do like different things. So I'd say like maybe a couple more streams at least. Thanks, no problem. So I think that was a very, very, very interesting journey today. Join me tomorrow, 7:15 p.m.-ish. Not p.m.-ish, 7:15-ish p.m. Central Eastern Europe Summer Time. No, what was it? Central European Summer Time. Yeah, if you follow me on Instagram, I always put a reminder there, so you can just like click on it or subscribe to get notifications. I think you need to hit the bell in order to get like emails that notify you that I'm going live if you want. And it also helps me if you subscribe. I'm almost hitting 500K. That's massive. Thank you. And I'm gonna push now this progress, major progress that we did today. Seriously major, not sarcastic. to GitHub. So if you want to check it out there, it's also going to be available. And I hope to see you tomorrow. I'm going to wish you a good day, evening, or night, wherever you are. Stay safe and see you tomorrow. Bye. Central European Summertime? No, Central European Summertime. Okay, I'll leave in. See ya!